Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of episode 144 of the TEW 2020 New Japan Pro Wrestling series here on the channel as the G1 Climax reaches its climax. As far as for this part, we'll be seeing the last 16 shows and then the semifinals into the finals, so 18 shows in general for this part. And of course, we're at the little bit past the halfway point going into the home stretch of the tournament. As for the standings, to remind everybody where we're at in the standings before we get this show on the road, as far as for day 20 here, we have Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. tied, and the main event for tonight's show is between Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. So the winner of this matchup could go on to win the whole goddamn thing as far as for their block. And even just going on and winning the whole goddamn thing. I mean, you got two very, very talented motherfuckers in there, and Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. Konosuke Takeshita is behind him with 7 points. But if he loses here, would be pretty tough as far as, because whoever wins that match is going to jump up to 10, and they'll stay at 8, the loser. So it would basically not change the standings a whole lot. Pentagon Jr. with 6. He's taking on Ryu Lee, which is the co-main event, and that's going to be a hell of a matchup, actually, for this first day here of this part, to have Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. as the main event and the co-main event, Pentagon Jr. and Ryu Lee. That's a great 1-2 punch. And Leono Fujinami still winless. Shotaro Ashino looking to jump up to potentially 7 points as well. A lot of people with 4 points, Cavanero, Jay White, and Great O'Connor, of course, Ryu Lee, which we already talked about. We'll see if Fujinami can get a win by the time we're ending out this G1. As for Block B, Moxley in the lead with 9 points. Cody Umeda's got 8 points. As far as Tamura with 7 and Miro with 6. So any one of those 4 guys can go on and win the whole goddamn thing. It's very, very close. It's a point each between 4 people, which is incredibly tough. Well, besides Miro. Miro's actually 3 points behind Moxley, but you get the gist of it. As far as Moxley hasn't lost yet, he's got 4 matches left. He's got Makabe, he's got Hook, he has Miro and his son in Shota Umino now. So it could be a perfect G1 climax as far as the block-wise for Jon Moxley. We'll see if he can get the job done. As far as Umeda, he's only had the tiebreaker loss, to Moxley. So it's Moxley's block to lose, just from that perspective. As far as Block C, we have a 3-way tie for first with 8 points. Daichi Hashimoto, Rush, and Will Hobbs. La Sombra there with 7. Will Hobbs still has to fight Hashimoto, and he also has already had a match with Rush, but he beat him, so he's got a tiebreaker win over that. As far as he's also beaten La Sombra, so that one loss being against Ray Fenix, which Ray Fenix right now only has 5 points, which is kind of crazy to think about. He's right at 500 with the 2-2-1 with the draw with Sombra, but if he can kind of get his shit together here and maybe make a late run, he's got a chance to really shake up the blocks, especially if he beats Rush. He's already lost to Daichi Hashimoto, but the draw with Sombra is going to make things a lot interesting if he goes on to win out and win every single match that he has left. But Block C, I mean, it's really a tight race so far. So Block D, Pac in the lead with 8 points. We have Sonata and Hiromu with 7. Gable and Volter and Ricochet with 6 points. Dijak with 4. This is a very, very tough block, though, to win. This is a tight race throughout. Again, you have, as far as 5 guys within 2 points of each other. Actually, more than that. Yeah, 6 guys within 2 points of each other. Still so much time left, though, at the same time. But in that same breath, though, Pac and Ricochet, they, as far as they've already had their match, which Pac beat him. So Pac's got the tiebreaker there. He did lose to Shane Strickland, which is kind of crazy. When you think of it from that perspective, since Strickland, that's his only win so far. As far as Pac has not fought, Volter also has not had the match. As far as Pac and Gable haven't had their match. So still a lot to be had. And also, Hiromu and Pac haven't had their match. So a lot can still take place. As far as for Pac, he also did beat Sonata, so that's a huge tiebreaker win for him. that's going to be a crazy block as far as the finishing sequence for that one. So far, it's also been interesting. No one has over double-digit points. Obviously, that's going to change tonight unless it's a draw between Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. But so far, we have not seen someone reach the double-digit mark. But we're finally going to potentially see that here tonight. As, we're good to go, because we already have everything booked. As the opening contest, it's a Young Lioness tag matchup with Natsuki Inoue and Mari Akamoto. The Young Lioness is losing to Andreas Miyagi and Jungle Kiona. It's Kiona with the diving splash. We're at the Green Dome in Hibashi, as far as the amount of Green Dome. Almost a sellout, about 100 people shy, give or take. Shotaro Ashino beating the Great Okan with a reverse cross arm breaker. Big win for Ashino here. It's a great submission victory for him as well, getting the win in 23-39 and a 93 performance as well. Hell of a matchup. I wish that didn't lack psychology, but we'll take the win there. Kodosuke Takeshita with the wall to Takeshita in 13-22. Of course, had to be a Steel of the Show matchup, and he runs through Leo Fujinami, who is still winless. It's Jay White and Barbara Cavanero. They have great chemistry here. Have a good little matchup. Jay White outperforming them too with the Blade Runner, getting the win in 20-43. Just a good matchup all the way around. Very, very pleased with that one. And it got the crowd hotter for the rest of the card as a 98 for Pentagon Jr. and Ryu Lee. What an upset here for Pentagon Jr. beating Ryu Lee. He gets to win the Fear Factor in 27-50, which leads to our main event. And we see Zack Sabre Jr. pull it off with a European clutch in 29 minutes. Could have went either way. Could have been a draw even. But he gets the win at the end. I would love, honestly, part of me wants to see kind of the counter of when Tyler Black gets God's Last Gift, but Zack Sabre Jr. rolls through it into a small package of his own, and he gets the win that way. But that's kind of a weird finish at the same time, because obviously he's the one hitting the move, and Tyler Black for him to lose like that would be kind of weird, but it happens. I mean, you see the kind of superplex spot, they do that all the time, where a guy counters the pinfall with a small package and ends up winning, even though he's the one who took a move. But also, too, both guys are hitting the mat, so it's a little bit more believable, whereas the God's Last Gift, it's kind of more so, as far as a lifting package, or a lifting, I was about to say lifting package pile driver, but obviously not. It's more of a lifting, more of a suplex small package as far as from that regard. He's not really taking more of a bump, but I guess, because it also is kind of more of like a brain buster too, in a way, like a small package brain buster, but it's a fun idea for that finish to be kind of out of nowhere and shocking like that. But also with the European clutch, you can counter out of it. Maybe he goes for God's Last Gift. Zack Sabre Jr. lands on his feet instead. Go behind, as far as off the ropes into the European clutch. There are a lot of different variables there. A lot of different finishes we can go with. You can also, technically pop up away from the curb stomp and maybe hook a leg, roll through into a European clutch, something like that too. A lot of fun finishes that we could go with. But yeah, hell of a show. Get us back on track here, back into the G1 for the second part. And obviously, we want to put over Tyler Black, Zack Sabre Jr., and Ryu Lee. The phenomenal stuff there from those guys. They were great. The 99 and the 98 for the main and co-main, and 87 and 86 as well on the card. Just some great shit to get us back on track. As on to day 22, we go. Alrighty, day 22, we have, to kick off the show, as, I didn't give it enough time, I'm an idiot, because I put slow build on it, as, the opening contest, trios matchup, Designs of Perfection versus Koji Kamai. So at the G1 Climax Finals, we're going to have a three-way dance tag team title matchup for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, as far as Jude London and Paris de Silva, the champions, defending those belts against Francesca Kira and El Hero del Airbender, and the team of Samurai del Sol and Demonic Mama, which we saw beat the Robbie Eagles Christian Casanova team. I believe that was day 14 of this G1 Climax tour. And it was a good matchup here, as far as with the trios matchup. Obviously, Airbender incredible, as far as with the 91, but Jude London and Paris de Silva, again, still an incredible team. Got the show off to a strong start, too, so that went quite nicely. 76 for Eito Tamura and Kazuchika Okada. It's Tamura, the Intercontinental Champion, beating Okada here, which, yeah, Obviously, we know Okada is not in his prime anymore, unfortunately, in this save, and gets the win there. This Tamura and the Intercontinental Champion is a nice 2 points. As Makabe beating Hook with the Makabe lock in 12:35. Obviously, this is a Steal the Show matchup. As Makabe, though, outperformed Hook. It was a good little matchup, though. This could have went either way, honestly, with how close it was. It's a 76 for Keith Lee and Yota Tsuji. Yota Tsuji beating the big man with a spear in 20 minutes. Hell of a matchup. As, yeah, this is big. Big for sure. Big for sure. As Cody Umeda beating Miro with the Fisherman Buster in 24-21. Good shit there. As, again, Umeda outperforming him. He's been on a hell of a roll. Might even steal this block away from Jon Moxley. You never know. Especially with the upset win as the student beats the teacher. In more of a father losing to his son here, is the Hankai Death Rider for Shota Umino in 26-31. This is a fun match to do, obviously. First time we've ever had this matchup, and we wanted it to be a special match. And for Umino to beat him, sucks that he was off his game, because this would have been even better if he was a little bit better, but to beat him here and kind of Moxley almost just like, not even stunned, but proud to have lost to Shota Umino, and sure, it's his first loss of this block, but he is very, very pleased to see how much he has learned and has improved and developed throughout his tenure with Moxley. For the fact that he can get a big win here in the G1 is just massive for him. Absolutely massive. Decent show. The Umeda matchup was definitely better. I was hoping Umino would have a good performance against Moxley, and I actually thought Moxley would be able to carry him into an 85, but fortunately, it is what it is. Cody Umeda, that will put him over. Same thing for Moxley. And honestly, I mean, Alito Del Airbender, he was incredible in that opening contest. Put those guys over. As a positive stare. Good shit. Good shit. As on to day 23 we go. Alrighty, as 14,000 on hand at this Kochi Hirono Athletic Stadium for day 23, the G1. Tony Storm, Becky Knockout Quinn, and Ashley Flair, the 4 Horsewomen, beating Ladies of Torture as far as Thunder Rosa, Raven Creed, and Sage Sin, as Becky Knockout Quinn getting the win over Thunder Rosa with a hard knocks. Probably should have had her beat Sage Sin, but that's alright. We'll take it. As an 81 for Levi Mir and Kenta. Levi Mir with the big win over a former heavyweight champion in Kenta. Obviously outperformed him as well. Tactical Masterclass matches are definitely his strength, so no surprise there, he outperformed him. And Ray Phoenix beating Brody King. It wasn't even close, as Brody King was really off his game, as Ray Phoenix getting the win with the Meteora in 22 minutes. So 79 here for Juice and Guarini, as Dominic Guarini with a huge upset win. Snap pile driver, I love that as a finish, especially if he counters the Pulp Friction with, as far as kind of like going into a potential like backslide out of it, or even just countering it itself. You know, as far as like Juice countering a backslide attempt from Guarini into a Pulp Friction. You know, Guarini throws him off the ropes, kick in the gut, into a quick pile driver, and he gets the win. It's a fun finish, but it's a decent matchup. Probably could have been a little lower on the card, but that's alright. Is our next matchup. Put this as a Steal the Show matchup because I wanted Hobbs to really use his strength and size to his advantage here, but what a performance on Daichi Hashimoto, though. A 93 goes, as far as for Hobbs, a torture rack finish. I kind of like that idea after he, you know, drives him through the mat a couple of times to the order of business and just picks up his limp, dead body, you know, in the torture rack. And the ref calls for it and gets the win in 14 minutes after just demolishing poor Hashimoto. And there's times where you just got to let that the big man eat a little bit, and that's basically what happens here. It's funny they called it a superb matchup. It was only an 80, but I guess that is a Steal the Show matchup. But a 93 for our main event in Rush with the upset win over La Sombra, beats the former heavyweight champion with the Rush driver in 29 minutes as well. And a big win and a big 2 points for Rush. Obviously, those two are a fun matchup to have, and they have their history as far as being on the same side and being a part of Los Ingobernables, of course. But now, here in Japan, on different sides of the equation, even though Sombra is still a part of LIJ de Japón, Rush, of course, part of the Bomb Squad here, and not a part of LIJ. It's a fun matchup and a fun finish for Roosh, and actually a pretty good show. Very pleased with that one. Yeah, we'll put over Roosh and Sunburn, and we're going to put over Daichi Hashimoto. I mean, what a performance in the co-main event. He was fantastic in that matchup. Good shit there. As on to Block D and on to day 24 we go. Alrighty, day 24, we see a singles matchup, a Young Lion matchup with Don Marcotte and Takuya Nomura. So, Marcotte, he's, I would say he's probably going to go on an excursion this, probably fall. It's probably actually just right after the G1. And so, that's going to be nice for him. Hopefully he comes back as like a 55-60 in-ring performer. That wouldn't be too bad. But Takuya Nomura gets the win here with the Dragon Suplex in 1030. So, a win for the Blast-Off member. It's Pac and Volter. So we know we had a time limit draw here with Pac and Volter. They're going 30, and we know they had the chemistry not going their way, so hence why we had to open up the show in a technical match class matchup. But them going to a draw to kick off the night, I think that was a great way of kind of showing off the unpredictability of this day with a draw. So 1 point for both Pac and Volter. And then the next matchup, Ricochet has a hip strain, our first injury of the G1. It took us 24 days, but we finally got one as a spinning Michinoku driver for Ricochet, though still picks up the win with that hip sprain, rather, not strain, but that's a tough break for him. Hopefully he'll be back to 100%. As Hiromu beats Donovan Dijak with a time bomb, picking up that big motherfucker for the time bomb, gets the win, and that's 2 points for Hiromu. And Katsuhiko Nakajima as beats Chaz Gable with a vertical spike. Hell of a matchup here, though. 27-38. It is awesome that these guys had a great matchup, because this match, again, another match that I just never knew I needed in my life until right now. When we saw it on the schedule, it's like, this is a fantastic matchup, as Gable comes up short, but he still outperformed him, and probably should have main evented, as Sonata beats Shane Strickland with the rounding body press. Gets the win at 26:04, though. Lack of psychology here. I mean, Sonata did pretty well, but I would definitely say, Nakajima and Gable, what a match, what a performance from those guys. That should have been last. And then we'll pull over Hiromu. I mean, he had a tremendous performance, rather, against Donovan Dijak. I mean, it was still a good match. It was 81, but just great performance from him. He made that happen. As, already through the first round of, at least for block show matches here, just to kick off the second part. We'll go into, as far as next time we're back to Block D, it will be, obviously, day 28, and then we'll just have, as far as, 8 more shows after that, so we're coming down to the wire, just like that, as, on to day 25, we go. Alrighty, day 25, we have a Young Lioness singles matchup here of Maki Ito beating Sagawa, as with a DDT, which, we probably should change Maki Ito's finishes around. It's weird, Herkukeshi is a fun finish, but at the same time, man, those could get, like, any type of diving headbutt, even if it's just standing. The amount of people that have used those headbutts and have had some long-term injuries, and even worse, as far as in some cases, it's kind of alarming, to be honest. So I always try to shade away talent from doing that. So we probably have to think of something else for her to do. Even though it's a fun idea, have a little fucking idol, little 100-pound idol chick that does these headbutts and shit, but it's just, it's not worth it in the end. But yeah, 20,000 people in the Nagano Olympic Memorial Arena for this show, as the Great Okan losing here to Leono Fujinami. He gets the win. Double underhook suplex as well in 21:50. They have great chemistry too, so that's nice. A nice little way to kick off the show, at least for the block portions. And we have a chronic shoulder pain injury for Barbaro Cavanero, as he loses to Pentagon Jr. here. Pentagon Jr. was off his game too. Just a bit of a bad matchup. Obviously, the injury hurt it a lot, but 67's not great. But tough breakup of Barbaro Cavanero. Then Shotaro Ashino beating Jay White with the ankle lock. Ankle hold here in this case, as Ashino gets the win. And 2 points for him, and that's an 80 for that matchup. Obviously, Ashino, very much the best guy in the matchup here. And a hell of a matchup for Tyler Black and Ryu Lee, as it goes 29 minutes to Tyler Black beating Ryu Lee with the God's Last Gift. A point difference between the two men. In their primes, this is a hell of a matchup. As far as, I don't know, as far as in 2028, how much Tyler Black's, his back is going to hold up and whatnot, but it's a good idea. I mean, especially if this was even 10 years ago, in 2018, or, that'd be pretty much the peak for how these two would perform-wise, but it is what it is. But the main event, which, I mean, looking back on it, probably shouldn't have been the main event, but Konosuke Takeshita beats Zack Sabre Jr., though, in 27-43. The reason why this also, too, was a main event match, of course, Zack and Tyler Black just had a great matchup. We saw him get the win. To have Konosuke Takeshita get the win here, again, shakes up Block A in a big, big way with that win. Surprised that the show only got an 86, but then again, the main event was an 86, so can't really fault it there. But Tyler Black and Riley, what a matchup. And we'll definitely be putting those guys over, because they deserved it. And we'll give Barbaro Cabanera a hug. Tough break for him. Getting injured. Especially, I mean, it's going to affect him, obviously, for the rest of the tournament, but at the same time, a bit of a blessing that it happened so late in the block matchups. Because really, there's, now that we're in August, he's only got about 2 more matches left, if that. Well, he's got, I think, 3, actually, left. But now we go on to day 26. We're just almost into the 30s. I mean, we're getting there closer and closer. On to day 26 we go. Alrighty, so for day 26, we start off with the build-up to the Junior Heavyweight title matchup that's happening at the G1 Climax Finals, as the rematch, of course, from the Best Super Juniors, which we saw Cedric Alexander beat Lee Moriarty, the champion, so that's why that match is taking place. Cedric Alexander gets the win here, as it's him and Desmond Xavier, the CADX Express, beating Lee Moriarty and Gavin McGavin, of course, of the United Empire, as a pretty good matchup, actually. An 84-85 for Cedric Alexander and Lee Moriarty. It sucks that they don't have chemistry, so we know that match is going to do pretty bad. I'm actually thinking of putting that as, like, the second match on the card. We might even kind of take the card and turn it into, instead of 8 matches, do 6. A little bit more compact, but a lot more, more impactful card. And that way, also the semifinals, it will have that still be 8. So it's still going to be, a big-ass tour. Obviously, it already is with the G1, but to add on to that and make it, very important. Because, I mean, obviously, we're going to have the finals already. We have this Junior Heavyweight title matchup. We're also going to have the 2v2v2 Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title matchup. And we're going to have the We're going to have the women's title on the line as Io Shirai looks to defend her championship yet again, but this time against the challenger she has yet to face, and her former Thunder Rock teammate in Mayu Iwatani. And that's going to be a barn burner, if I had to guess. That's going to be an incredible match. It might even be the best thing on the card, as that's probably going to be the co-main, even. Because I just don't think, even the G1 Climax Finals might even outperform that matchup. It's going to be so good. But, yeah, I mean, so, again, that's already basically 4 major matches, and we still might even do a tag team title matchup. We might even do, we can't do a never open weight 6-man, because obviously Moriarty's involved. We might do a never open weight, or a New Japan Strong open weight title matchup too, with Will Hobbs, so really just kind of depends on how Hobbs finishes as well. It's an 85, though, for the opening contest, and obviously a big-time matchup here with Miro and Jon Moxley, and Miro beats him with the game over in 22-10. So that's a huge upset, but also, I mean, Moxley, after losing to Umino, loses here to Miro, and now that Block B is looking a little bit in farther reach for Jon Moxley. And Keith Lee, though, destroys poor Shota Umino with a power slam in 11-22, so after beating Moxley, he loses to Keith Lee in that one. Kazuchika Okada with a 55. Yeah, this is probably his last G1. It's fucking insane to think. But Yota Tsuji gets the win with the spear, and it wasn't even close as far as performance-wise. So that's pretty crazy. Probably shouldn't have been so high on the card either. Then 80 for Daniel Makabe and Kota Umeda. As Umeda gets the win with the Fisherman Buster in 22-49. He is still in good contention as far as being able to potentially win this block. Obviously, that win in 2 points. And then our main event in a 77. A brutal main event. But he added some more, beats Hook with the jackhammer in 25-45. Yeah, I think now at this rate, oh my god, we lost the popularity in, like, every place. Yeah, I figured Miro Mox was going to be the best thing on the card, but I also felt like it was going to be the best technical masterclass matchup on the card as well. Probably should have just went with Tsuchi and Okada to be the technical masterclass, and then that Miro Moxley main event. Not great. Not great at all. But we'll put over Moxley, and then I guess we'll put over Moriarty and Cedric Alexander, since they were like the second and third best guys on the fucking show. They did great. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. I also think too, we're 26 days in. It's been a pretty hard tournament, of course. It is. I would say it's the hardest tournament in wrestling as far as having to work basically for those guys twice a week in hard-hitting affairs. As far as beating the absolute piss out of each other for about a month and a half. It's very, very tough. Very, very tough. And it's definitely showing, I think, for a lot of the guys, especially for the veteran talent who've had, their 10th or, as far as for, Okada's, this is about almost his 15th G1. So I want to say his first one was 2012. Might have actually been 2013, but, it might actually have been 2011 now I'm thinking about it, because, because I thought it was him and Carl Anderson in the finals in 2012. I guess we could look. I think we can. Yeah, we'll take a look here. G1. Yep, it was that year. So, yeah. So, that's still almost 15 years. That's a long, long time. A lot of action, put on that body, for sure. As, now we go to, day 27, of course, we're, going to Block C. The next time we'll take a look at the standings. It's coming up, though. It'll probably be, I was thinking of doing that 32, but we might even just do it after day 28, because there's still some big-time matches left to talk about. So, yeah, on to day 27 we go. Alrighty, day 27 starts off with a Young Lion matchup, as Hideyoshi Kamitani and Kenji Shiga, as far as they have a great chemistry, too, so that's nice. Nice little matchup, diving shoulder block for Kamitani, and, this is, for Kenji Shiga, again, a 40 for Young Lion is a pretty good rating, especially for somebody that's obviously been at it now for a couple of years now. I want to say Shiga debuted in 2026. But he's almost ready to go on excursion, too. There's a lot of guys that are, that kind of first crop of Young Lions, the generated ones, they're ready to come out and go on excursion. So it's pretty wild to think, obviously, how far we've come along through this save. It's Levi Mir, though, beating Dominic Guarini here, with a submission, too, in 24:02. Nice win for Mir, and that's 2 points for Levi. And for the Monstars U-Man, they've had a pretty good night for the past couple of nights here. Obviously, Miro beating Moxley. Levi Mir getting some wins. Thought the G1 Keith Lee also beat Shota Umino as well. They're rolling a little bit. Daichi Hashimoto and Juice Robinson have a fucking banger of a matchup here. What a match, as Juice Robinson gets the win, though, with a Pulp Friction in 25-36. Again, I like the idea of Juice getting out of the vertical drop, brain buster, landing on his feet, kind of behind him, the right hand into the Pulp Friction, and just kind of almost out of nowhere, but not, obviously just countering a move and hitting his own finisher to get the win in 25 minutes, but that was, and that might be the best thing on the card. We'll see, though. Oh my god, never mind. It's Kenta and La Sombra. Sombra says, fuck that shit. We're going to have a banger on our hands, as they have great chemistry as well, and Brilliante driver for La Sombra in 22-46, and that's going to be hard to top. Going to be hard to top that one. An 80 for Brody King and Will Hobbs, so double DQ here. I honestly, it wasn't going to be a double DQ, it was going to probably be a double count out, but the two big hosses battling it out, because double DQ is kind of weird for a G1, because you're kind of hoping the other guy hits you and you get your 2 points with a weapon or anything. But also, too, could even be that our referee, which, who is the referee for this matchup here? Let's take a look here. Yeah, Marty Asami just ends up calling for the bell. It gets a little too out of hand between these two massive fucking monsters. that's kind of the idea. Just these two burly motherfuckers battling it out throughout the arena, and ends up being a count out, double count out. So 1 point for each man. But for Will Hobbs, obviously a loss is not what he's wanting, being the champion and being a guy that is got the target on his back. But still a good performance for both guys, though, 70 and 74. And a 99 for our main event. What a goddamn show this was. The 21,000 people here at the Mazda Stadium in Hiroshima had an absolute phenomenal show on their hands. Ray Fenix beating Roosh with the Meteora in 28:02. Great matchup for both guys. And again, just kind of the combination of luchador stars that we have there at the top of the card. The amount of great matches we can pull out of those guys is pretty crazy. And yeah, I mean, what a phenomenal show. Definitely needed that after what we just had the previous night. Yeah, we'll put over Ray Fenix, we'll put over Sombra, and we will put over as well Daichi Hashimoto, because he was phenomenal as well. Good shit there. Is that now on the day 28 for Block D? And, you know, so again, we are coming up on, we'll just have 8 more shows left after day 28. Coming up on the home stretch, and we'll take a look and see how the standings will be looking like after we run day 28 to see what, you know, who's still in the hunt, who's on the bubble, trying to get in to the potential finals, who's even gonna be maybe tasked with pulling off a major upset and fucking somebody over during the block as far as with the standings go. So a lot of big time matches. The matches now, it's win or go home for a lot of these guys. So this is a major moment now as we now, you know, going into the second week of August too. But yeah, on to day 28. Alrighty, day 28, the G1, as far as 20,000 people on hand for the Amada Green Dome, as Athena and Julia getting the win over Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander, the Dark Order. Of course, Hayter and Statlander, they just came up short in challenging the New Japan Strong Women's Openweight Tag Team Champs of Julia and Saki Akai. So, and that was at the Best of Junior. So, about a month between this match and here, and felt like, again, you know, I thought Athena and Julia was going to be the better team, but actually, it was not. It was Hayter and Statlander, and I felt like this was a great way to have them still be established that they were the better team. But man, you know, again, Jamie Hayter and Statlander are a good team. It's just crazy that Statlander in Japan is still like in the 30s as far as popularity-wise. But they have a real good chance of being a hell of a team. They really do. Those girls are busting their ass. Getting better. As Pac and Coughlin here in the Technical Masterclass matchup, as Pac gets the win with the Shooting Star leg drop. Gets the win in 20 minutes as well. And yeah, that's obviously a win for Pac and 2 points. And he's, I mean, he's got a real good chance. Block D, though, is so fucking tough. As Donovan Dijak beats Shane Strickland here with a Dijection at 11-12. Yeah, I just felt like for the Sailor Show matchup, Strickland and Dijak are getting a size disadvantage for Strickland. Maybe gets just caught with a Dijection almost out of nowhere type of thing. And then Strickland, obviously, he's not kicking out of something like that so early on in the matchup. And yeah, I just felt like this was kind of the perfect opportunity for it. It's a good match, though. We'll definitely take that. Now, 91, though, for Katsuhiko Nakajima and Hiromu Takahashi. What a phenomenal matchup this was. A 91, Nakajima gets the win with the vertical spike, even though it gets outperformed, but it's just still a crazy that Nakajima is doing so well when the years of experience this man has had is insane. He's over 20 years of experience coming into this matchup, and he brings it, though. Him and Hiromu will be a very fun matchup. As another 91, as Gable beats Ricochet. Of course, Ricochet's got his injury, so we knew he was going to get outperformed. He loses here to Gable as well. This would have been insane if he was healthy, but fun matchup, though. You know, as far as stylistically, different styles of as far as, obviously, mat-based wrestling, Gable and Ricochet, obviously a high flyer, but Gable would probably be a pretty solid base for Ricochet, too. So it'd be a fun match to see. And for our main event, we see Volter beat Sonata with the Golden Bomb in 28:59, right before the 29-minute mark. As afterwards, we post-show press conferences for some of the talent, which we sometimes don't really show off, obviously, for like the block shows, because it just would take forever this episode. But for this one, I wanted to highlight what happens as while Walter's having his post-show press conference and talking about the match and how beating Sonata, as far as this a guy that has been running his mouth, saying he's going to win this and win that, when he should have known damn well that he's the one who's winning this G1. That as far as he's in, still the best shape, and that he's going on almost 40, I believe, Walter at this time in 2028, and to think he might even have a better run than he has had when he was the Intercontinental Champion for a year and was defending it all over the world. He's got a real good chance here with this win to beat Sonata like that and to get 2 points over him. But as he's going through it, gets a tap on the shoulder, turns around. That's Tanahashi. He's got this envelope, hands it over to him, tells him what a great matchup, and this is a gift for the office to you, as far as a bit of a bonus for the great matchup you guys just had, you and Sonata. And it seems kind of weird, because obviously Tanahashi's never done this before. But obviously we know that is it a bounty at play here? Did he pay him off because he beat him? He didn't say it. That was not the words he used. He talked about it being a bonus for the great performance in the great main event. But I think he's up to some shenanigans, maybe. The ace maybe not be so good and almighty, as far as he might not be all pure and great. Maybe Sonata's gotten underneath his skin, and he is pulling off some desperate measures. Because also, to do this during a post-show press conference, maybe giving the Iggy to Sonata's next two opponents, that, hey, this is what happens when you fucking win and beat him. You might even get another envelope. Might even be more money in there. Maybe there's no money involved, because I wanted Volta not to open it, too. I wanted it to obviously be a little bit of a mystery as well, just to kind of play it up a little bit. But what a show, though. Volta beating Sonata, Gable beating Ricochet, Katsuhiko Nakajima beating Hiromu, beating a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and beating a guy who's won this tournament, too. I mean, that's a huge win. We're going to put him over. We're going to put Gable over. And we're obviously going to put Volta over as well. But, I mean, Block D, I don't think they've had a bad match or a bad show yet, really. I mean, they've been phenomenal. Day 28, though, in the books, as we just have 2 shows left for each block. So, obviously, overall, we have 8 shows left, plus, obviously, the semifinals and finals. Kind of crazy. We're almost down to from double digits down to single digits with the amount of shows left. And Wrestle Kingdom 2, or Wrestle Kingdom 3, rather. Yeah, as far as TNA coming over. And fucking Main Event Mafia. The Dudleys. Fucking, I don't think that's the Wrestle Kingdom where Naito and Jeff Hardy wrestled. Could be, though. I could have swore that was the one where the Dudleys won the IWGP Tag Team titles, but nonetheless, yeah, as far as got the contract done for Clark Connors as well. So the tournament standings after 28 nights of action. Block A, Konosuke Takeshita is in the lead, but he's got 3 guys right on his tail. Pentagon Jr. with 10, Tyler Black with 10, and Zack Sabre Jr. with 10. For Konosuke Takeshita, he's hoping the IWGP Heavyweight Champion and Tyler Black does not get a win while he loses a night or 2 even. So that would definitely sway Tyler Black into getting the win. But that draw is going to help him out a lot with it being at 11. Same thing for Ashino. He's got 9 points, but if he gets a win, and let's say as far as if Pentagon Jr. kind of wins out, and Tyler Black and Zack Sabre Jr. end up losing, he's got a tiebreaker win over both, over Pentagon Jr. That'd be huge for him. Of course, Zack Sabre Jr., he's got the tiebreaker win over Tyler Black, so he's definitely is still in contention for sure, but he's also got a tiebreaker loss to Konosuke Takeshita. So a lot of variables there for Block A. For Block B, it's really a 2-man race with Kota Yamada and Hiroto Tamura, the Intercontinental Champion. Moxley's 2 losses haven't been great for him, but as far as if, especially he's got the Kota Yamada win, so there's still a chance. Tamura still hasn't faced Kota Yamada too, so that matchup is really going to be the deciding factor who's going to win that block, I believe. But if Moxley can pull it off, potentially that'd be huge. Yota Tsuji and Miro with 8 points too. It's crazy that Kazuchika Okada has 2 points, and it's kind of justifiable, as he beat Makabe too for that. But he's still got Miro and Shota Umino left. Maybe he'll finish with 4, maybe not. Maybe he won't even. Maybe he'll finish with 6. You never know. But yeah, I mean, Hook had some big wins though. He beat Moxley and he beat, or no, he didn't beat Moxley. Rather, he beat Okada and Keith Lee. I was thinking he had beaten Moxley, but no, that match hasn't taken place yet. But that's still a big time matchup. And if Moxley loses to him, boy, that would be tough for him. That would definitely take his aspirations of winning this block right out of the picture. As for Block C, it's down to Hobbs, Roosh, Rey Fenix, La Sombra. Daichi Hashimoto has an outside chance of making it, but a lot of things will have to fall his way because he's got losses to Roosh and Hobbs. And he's also got a loss to Juice Robinson now, so that's tough for him as well. To have 3 losses on your resume, it's going to be tough to try and make it. But as far as he's got La Sombra left, so if he can beat La Sombra, that's definitely going to help his chances out a lot. As far as Rey Fenix, he's got Kenta and Dominic Garrini left. And for Roosh, he has Brody King and Kenta left. And Will Hobbs has Juice Robinson and Levi Mir left. Hobbs might just, in fact, make it to the semifinals here. Obviously, he's only lost once. It was the Rey Fenix, though. So if Rey Fenix can keep up some of the winning ways, and maybe Hobbs loses a match or 2, he's got a chance to jump over him with that tiebreaker advantage. And then for Block D, Pac with 11 points, Hiromu with 9, Sonata with 9, Walter with 9. So obviously, Walter with the tiebreaker win is huge for Pac. He's got 2 matches left. They're against Gable and Hiromu, so definitely not easy matches at all. Hiromu with 9, and he's got, of course, we talked about Pac, but he's also got Ricochet too left. And for Sonata, he's got Alex Coughlin and Chaz Gable. So as far as Gable has a chance to really swing this, and if he can beat both Pac and Sonata, I mean, he's going to sit with 12 points with 2 major tiebreaker wins. And if Pac loses again, as far as if he loses to both Gable and Hiromu, that's going to set up Gable perfectly if he can get the win over Sonata too. But man, that's just so many big time matches. For Walter, he's got Dijak and Strickland left. So one would say a pretty easy path compared to some of the other guys. But I would still say, even though Pac's in the lead, it is not an easy lead to maintain. He's got a hard path. The person who wins this block is going to be fucking earning it, because you have fought some tough guys. As far as Sonata and Hiromu, of course, former IWGP Heavyweight Champions, but, Nakajima, of course, has been a GHC Heavyweight Champion. In real life, obviously, he was the Triple Crown champ, but here in the save, that has not happened yet. Or it didn't happen, because obviously he didn't go to All Japan. He went, we signed him, leaving Noah. Pac, of course, has had great success as far as, NXT champ and all that fun jazz, and he's done very well for himself as far as a tag team champion and a junior heavyweight champion. And just saying, Walter, of course, Intercontinental champion, hell of a run that he's had, and you're going to earn it, for sure, if you win out that block. But that is, at least for the recap portion, done and over with, as on to day 29 we go. Alrighty, day 29, as undercard matchup that actually is going to lead into the block matches, because we're going to see Konosuke Takeshita versus Ryu Lee, so Diamond K, Bomb Squad matchup, as then that's going to be the co-main too, as far as Kaito Crusher and Kosai Fujita coming up short against the Bomb Squad, even though Kaito Crusher, best guy in the matchup, as Kawado beats Kosai Fujita with a Kawada clutch in 10 minutes, as obviously, Young Lion matchup, a good little opening tag matchup. Not bad at all, it being an 80. Didn't expect that, to be honest. This is Shotaro Ashino beating Barbaro Cavanero, of course. Cavanero's got his injury now, too. So, only having 2 injuries so far in 29 nights of action is not too bad for 40 guys competing damn near every night, as far as one after another. Can't really beat that. Blade Runner from Jay White over Leono Fujinami. This is, of course, an awkward bout, so we knew it was going to be pretty tough. One was just a 9-minute matchup with Fujinami getting caught with the Blade Runner. With Jay White getting the win. Short and sweet, as far as doesn't need to go a crazy amount of time. Obviously, we needed a Steal the Show matchup, so went with the one that had the awkward bout. It's just funny that those Steal the Show matches, we literally just throw him away with, like, because we just know it's not going to be better than the matches we're given a lot of time to. Like this one, our Great-O-Khan and Zack Sabre Jr. Fun matchup here, of course, the former United Empire member, the Great-O-Khan, losing here to Zack Sabre Jr., though, in 26-30, and that's a big win for Zack Sabre Jr., who's still in the hunt to win this block. As a 98, though, for Konosuke Takeshita and Ryu Lee, a hell of a matchup. 98, even with the lack of psychology, and Ryu Lee beats him, too. What a massive victory, and what a clean sweep, too, for the Bomb Squad tonight. Beating Konosuke Takeshita in a matchup that I would just absolutely love to see. These two fuckers would be fantastic against each other. But the main event, though, Tyler Black beating Pentagon Jr., even though Pentagon Jr. outperformed him by 1 point. Fun matchup here, in a matchup that might actually happen in real life. I definitely never thought it'd happen, as far as what a weird time period. As especially if you told me, like, when Season 1 and Season 2 Lucha Underground was going on, that him and Tyler Black would have a match. Be like, because I just would never expect the WWE to sign somebody. Or he didn't, like, leaving Mexico at that time, let alone, AEW starting and all that fun jazz that has happened from now to then. But Tyler Black getting that win, and him and Zack Sabre Jr. still in the hunt. Ryu Lee shaking things up, beating Konosuke Takeshita. Pentagon Jr. had a good chance. If he would have beat the champion here tonight, that would have definitely helped catapult him. But fortunately for him losing, I think, has kind of hindered his chances. But yeah, definitely put over Tyler Black. And definitely put over Konosuke Takeshita and Ryu Lee. What a fucking performance those two men put on. Great matchup there. 29 days have come and gone now. And on to day 30. Into Block B we go. Alrighty, so day 30, we're actually picking a smaller venue for this show. It's 5,000 people, which is obviously much smaller than what we're used to running for the G1. But I felt like this was better than going somewhere where I think the venue capacity was like 30,000, and I think the capacity would have been around not even 50%, because it would have been about 13,000 people there. I don't think that we needed to do all that. We could run somewhere 5,000 people, let the people come in that are rabid and rampant for the show. But the opening got this, though. Clark Connors and Caveman Og from Peace, Love, and War, beating Jimmy Toretto and Herman Hurst. Hurst losing to Caveman Og with the Splash Mountain's Edge. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Cavanero and Og are kind of more the, or Og, rather, as far as, are basically more the team than Connors and Caveman are, but, again, Coughlin and Cavanero are working the G1, so I figured this would be the best case scenario for them. Get the win here over the Young Lions, and, Jimmy Toretto with a 19 is pretty brutal. Jon Moxley and Daniel Makabe, as far as the Technical Masterclass matchup, and Mox with a win. His first win in a hot minute, but he gets to win the Death Rider in 24 minutes, beating Makabe. And, as far as obviously 2 points. But, again, Block B is kind of down to 2 men, in Tamura and Kota Umeda. Unless something changes here. But Shota Umino beats Kazuchika Okada. Insane. As the Henkai Death Rider for Shota Umino. And, man, that win over Moxley really did help him a lot. The performance ratings are now in the 70s. He's beating Okada here. Shota Umino's arrived, for sure, with this G1, and Miro and Keith Lee is, of course, the Monstars U teammates battling it out, though. 12 minutes, Miro gets the win with the Bullplex over Keith Lee, 2 points for him, after beating, Moxley, too, but the night before. He's on a bit of a run. Seiya Tamura beats Io Tsuchi, so the Intercontinental Champion gets the win here, just face lock. For Tamura, I'm surprised he even got an 82, because Tsuji with a 67, not great. Tamura was off his game. He got a 76. We kind of got lucky on that one. But the main event, an 87 with an upset win as Hook beats Umeda in 26 minutes. A massive victory for Hook, as he's almost in the 70s, but not quite there. Umeda though with an 84, and obviously he's been a tremendous performer so far in this G1. Doesn't get the win there, though, and that has now swung Tamura back into the lead. And just like that, though, Tamura's in the lead, but it comes down to Umeda and Tamura, the singles matchup. That is going to main event the last day for Block B. And the winner of that matchup will go on to win the block. So that is a massive matchup, obviously. Tough break for Moxley, though. He had a great G1. Was on a hell of a run there for a hot minute, going undefeated, and then lost to Shota Umino, and that's kind of when everything fell apart for him, unfortunately. But I think we want to put over Tamura as well, yeah. Even though he wasn't so great. But he did better than the average. But yeah, 30 days, coming and going, man. And let alone, when you think of the strong tapings, too, at once a week on Wednesdays, we've ran about 36 shows at this point, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane. A lot of television and a lot of wrestling happening there. And only 2 injuries, too, just crazy. But on to the next night we go to day 31, and we'll see how Block C plays out here as we're almost wrapping up the G1. Alrighty, day 31, so we open up the show with SB Kento and Tetsuya Naito of Los Engaños Have a Nice Day Upon taking on the Suzuki-Gun team of Claudio Castagnoli and Fred Yehi. So, matchup taking place here is because on the co-main event, we're going to see Sombra taking on Dominic Guarini. It's a little kind of telling a story throughout the show type of thing with that one. But Suzuki-Gun getting the win here with Claudio beating Kento with the stretch muffler. Probably should have been Naito, but at this rate, Naito is, I mean, I would probably, I was hoping I can milk him to get to the point where, or at least milk it to where he could make it to the New Japan Rumble, and then that'd probably be it, and then do the retirement show. But I don't know, man. 39 is crazy. we just cannot, we can't use that. You know, just, it is what it is. But there's a chance that, obviously, I think as an agent, and working with maybe potentially Tanahashi too, as those are some guys to fucking lean on for sure. I mean, Shibata, Naito, Tanahashi, get the guys to learn from, is pretty great. Pretty great to see. As Daichi Hashimoto and Levi Mir, as Hashimoto gets the win with a vertical drop brainbuster in 24:06, even though Mir outperformed him, was a technical masterclass matchup, so makes sense there that Mir outperformed him, but hell of a matchup, though, nonetheless. And Ray Phoenix losing to Kenta. The Kenta combo into the Bisaiku knee, very much a Ricky Marvin Kenta type of affair here, where you have him just kind of go all out and see what the old man can do out there, as Ray Phoenix obviously is the better performer, which is no surprise. But yeah, we knew they were already going to have a bad matchup with as far as chemistry-wise, so figured we'd just have that be the steal of the show matchup. But a 92 for Brody King and Roosh, as the Lalanza for Roosh gets the win in 25:36. That's a big win there. It's an 87 for Sombra and Guarini, as he gets the win to split-legged corkscrew senton, and gets the nice win. 2 points for him, and also avenges the Los Ingobernables matchup that happened to kick off this show. But the main event, Will Hobbs and Juice Robinson, guys that have had U.S. title matches, never appointed title matches in the past. They main event this show, and Hobbs beats him with the order of business in 23:53, and that will keep him in the lead for Block C, the Never Openweight champ, both New Japan Strong and, as far as Never Openweight in general, champion. But Roosh is right behind him. It's a point difference between the two men. But yeah, we'll definitely put over Sombra, Roosh, and Ray Phoenix again. The Luchadors just carrying us with greatness. I mean, you could probably do like a SmackDown 6 of the Luchadors we have on this G1 and have a hell of a program. Because, I mean, you'd have Sombra, Roosh, Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., Ryu Lee. Just those 5 alone are fucking phenomenal. Insane. And then you could either use Hiromu for him and Ryu Lee. That would be great. Or even use Pac. You could have an incredible program to have the 5 luchadors and then have someone like an outsider, a foreign guy. Would be pretty sick. Pretty sick. But yeah, now we're going into day 32, Block D, as far as coming up. And once we get down to after day 32, it's down to the final shows for each block. And it's the home stretch for this G1. And we will see who's going on in the semifinals and finals. As day 32, we are at, again, the Nagano Olympic Memorial Arena. Another sellout, 20,000 on hand for this one, as the Time Splitters losing to the New Wave of Strong Style, as Yuto Nakashima going over Alex Shelley. And yeah, kind of crazy how now the New Wave of Strong Style can outperform the Time Splitters. Well, actually, as I say that, they did get outperformed by 1 point, though. It's getting close. to where they can outperform them. But a huge win, though, for Yuto Nakashima nonetheless to beat the Time Splitters. And I'm not surprised Oiwa's the better of the two, because in real life, I mean, Oiwa's, I would argue that in the next generation here, the 2030s, or the next generation, next decade, he's probably going to be one of the top guys in Japan. He's pretty fucking good. And I'm not surprised here that even in the save, it shows it as far as the talent is pretty evident. Pretty evident. But that's 75 there. As Katsuya Nakajima beating Donovan Dijak here. Or Donovan Dijak, rather, beating Katsuya Nakajima, rather, excuse me, as he gets on the reverse Death Valley driver in 24-18. Fucking burning hammer, huh? Well, it's hard to kick out of that. Yeah, I mean, busting that out. Obviously, we won't. If someone's gonna do that, it better be protected. So, no one's kicking out of that. But Katsuya Nakajima, though, at 89 again. It's just crazy how well he's performing. 77 here for Alex Coughlin Sonata. Steal the show matchup here, and we see the returning Sho Tanaka as Showtime Tanaka to help Sonata out here. So we see, as far as maybe Coughlin's kind of, let's just say he's just like on a knee or two near the middle rope. Sonata is distracting the ref. Showtime Tanaka hopping the rail with the hoodie up, so no one knows who it is, and then he hits Coughlin with a little drive-by shot with something. I'm trying to think what would be a great prop for him to use. Oh, camera. There we go. Easy gimmick there, as maybe even have him be the camera guy for, like, as far as the old, as far as, like, have him wear, like, his, as far as, because you can't really do it with a hood up, but you need to be able to where no one can tell that's him, do at the same time. So maybe even have, like, a face mask gimmick, and pull it down, pop the hood off. It's fucking Tanaka, and, show being back a part of Designers of Perfection. But now, with a new gimmick, we don't, as far as it's not explained yet, but a returning show to the shock of hopefully a lot of people there, and helping Sonata get a win, too. Massive win for Sonata. It's Volter, Shane Strickland, they don't click. But even, I knew that going in, and even then I was just like, Volter's going to have a good performance, it's going to be a pretty good matchup, and it was. But we see an upset. Shane Strickland beating Volter in 27-55. A huge upset for Strickland, beating a former Intercontinental Champion, a guy who's, I mean, he just beat Sonata. Just beat a guy that has been a former heavyweight champion, and it's a massive win. Massive win for Shane Strickland. But our main event, or never mind, it's JK. As far as it's not the main, it's the co-main. That's right, it was going to be the main, but I switched it with this matchup that's going to be the main. It's Pac and Gable. Gable gets the win, beats Pac with a great amplitude in 29-13. This is a fun-ass match, though. Would have loved to see that. As Hiromu and Ricochet. Ricochet is now healthy, so I think that's why I wanted it to be the main event, but nonetheless, and I think it'd be a great matchup. But Hiromu gets one with the time bomb in 29-28. It sucks that, again, Ricochet was off his game because now he's back to 100%, but just didn't show up when we needed him. But it's still a good main event. And, Block D, again, is just so hard to have a bad match. There's too much talent in that block to really fail. And another successful show for them. But a big thing for this show is obviously now we're down to the final shows for each block. As, no, we're not putting over Ricochet. Let's put over Sonata, actually, and then let's put over Pac. Yeah. Actually, let's put over Volter. He put over Strickland, didn't really complain about it either, I don't think he did. Don't remember. But, yeah, now we're down to, 33, 34, 35, 36, as far as the last shows. For each block, we'll see who the winners of each block will be. So after each show, after day 30, what's going to happen is, now, instead of, running the show, we're going to have the card, look at the tournament standings for the final time before we run the show, for each of these last final shows, just so everybody knows what's at stake here going into the final shows. So yeah, on to day 33, we go. Alrighty, so for day 33, we have, as far as the big matchup is the main event. Zack Sabre Jr., Jay White. If, of course, Zack wins, he's going on the finals. And if Tyler Black, as far as he wants any chance of going on to the finals, he's got to hope for a loss. Plus, he's got to beat Barbaro Cavanero. I guess if they both lose, then obviously that opens the door for Konosuke Takeshita and Shotaro Ashino, which Shotaro Ashino is wrestling Leono Fujinami, and then Konosuke Takeshita, he's wrestling Pentagon Jr., which is a very, very tough matchup. So, out of those two, it's probably going to be Ashino. And then Pentagon Jr. had a chance to tie it if both Konosuke Takeshita and Ashino lost, and also Tyler Black and Jay White lost, but he would have obviously, no tiebreakers, so he's fucked anyways. But yeah, that's actually a pretty fun block as far as how it all played out. Felt like everybody pretty much deserved where they're at. Riley Lee at 6 is kind of tough, but at the same time, it's just the block was so stacked. Maybe you could have swapped him and Ashino, but even then, Ashino did great as well. But yeah, we're good to go now for the show. So the opening contest, Oleg and Oscar taking on Carl Fredericks and Keisuke Okuda, which of course are part of the Koji Kamai team. And they actually did pretty well. 59s for both guys. Oleg actually finally in the 50s. That's kind of hilarious. Oscar, though, not so much. I think we're actually going to keep Oleg. I think we're going to get rid of Oscar. The roster's getting so big anyways. Send Oleg maybe to GCW, maybe even to CMLL, just somewhere else for him to work. Because it's just not going to happen here. He's just not good enough. And now he's getting to the point where he's too fucking old to be even, considered a young lion anymore. That was basically just an undercard match. As Shotaro Ashino beating Leono Fujinami, though. So he'll finish with 13. Gets the one with the ankle lock. That was an 86 as well. As Ryu Lee and the Great Okan. Unfortunately, they don't click, so we knew that. So it had to be a Steal the Show matchup. And we only gave him 8 minutes, which I don't really love. But I like the idea that Okan went to the submission. So basically just locks it in. Ryu Lee can't escape it. Maybe even because he's got the Cobra Clutch in. Do what, Big Show used to do as far as doing the backbreaker out of it while keeping a hold. Using his size to his advantage there. That's a hard move to pull off as somebody that's not a fucking giant, but still, it's a good idea. You gotta do it, at least try it, and keep it a hold on it. But, yeah, Okan getting the win now. So both guys actually gonna finish with 6 points there, with Okan and Ryu Lee. Konosuke Takeshita beats Pentagon Jr. in a hell of a matchup. I'm surprised it was only an 86, fucking lack of psychology. Fucked us over there, but a big win for Konosuke Takeshita nonetheless. And Tyler Black beats Barbaro Cavanero. So he does his part, beats the injured Cavanero with God's Last Gift, and has an 89 for the segment. So it comes down to the main event. And how about that? It's a draw. He doesn't lose, but he doesn't win either. So that gives Tyler Black the chance to win Block A. That is a tough break for Zack Sabre Jr. But he still gets a heavyweight title matchup in the future, though, even though he lost the chance to go into the finals. He at least beat Tyler Black. So you have at least some type of positive for Zack Sabre Jr. Kind of crazy it was only 86. There's some good matches and good performances on this show. It just kind of got fucked with either bad chemistry or somebody getting injured or somebody being injured. And just tough. Yeah, but we'll put over Zack Sabre Jr. We'll put over Tyler Black. And we'll put over Konosuke Takeshita as well. Because he was great in his matchup. Both him and Pentagon Jr. were great. Yeah, we'll put those guys over. So there's the winner of Block A, Tyler Black. Now we go on to see who's going to be taking on Tyler Black in the semifinals. What a chance, though, to take on the heavyweight champion and the U.S. champion in the semifinals. And for Tyler Black, he might be winning this whole goddamn thing as the heavyweight champion of the world. Alright, so we're back with the Green Dome, and the reason why we're not actually going to show off this block is because this one's pretty straightforward. It's the main event. Hayato Tamura, Kota Umeda, they're both, 1 point apart. Winner of that matchup wins the whole block. Doesn't matter what happens the rest of the card, it is down to that one match. As Robbie Eagles and Christian Casanova, though, gets the win over Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly to kick off the show, with House of Black beating Dragon's Den. A good matchup. Got to show up the strong start, too. Can't beat that. So that's going to actually probably fuck up this technical masterclass, if I had to guess. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, that's good. So Yota Tsuji beating Shota Umino with a spear, but Umino outperformed him. So that's a good performance from Umino. And, yeah, I think guys are kind of just getting tired at this rate. You know, pretty beat up. Oh, they're both just inconsistent. But still, I'd say they've worked their fucking ass off this tour. And they've made it to the home stretch. Miro beating Kazuchika Okada with the game over in 20 minutes. So 2 points from Miro to end it out. That was a 74-79 for Daniel Makabe and Keith Lee, as Keith Lee beats him. And Daniel Makabe, funny enough, depending on what happens here, it doesn't, as far as Tamura or Umeda, if Umeda beats Tamura's going to defend his Intercontinental title against Daniel Makabe. If Tamura wins, though, then the Makabe title matchup gets pushed back. So that's just kind of what's on the horizon there. But that's, not till the main event. Because the co-main event is Jon Moxley versus Hook. Fun matchup here, obviously. I'm surprised, it has not really happened yet in AEW. Obviously, Hook, I don't think, is kind of ready for maybe some of these big-time matches. But that'd be a fun match. The way those guys can work, stylistically, it makes a lot of sense to do. But I think, again, maybe Hook's probably just not ready for a big-time program like that. But, boy, that'd be fucking awesome. Or even if he teams with him. That'd be sick. Yeah, I mean, that's a fun match, though. The Death Rider for Moxley gets the win. Just unfortunate he doesn't make it to the finals, or even the semifinals, because obviously he would be taking on Tyler Black if he would have gotten the win here tonight. And it's Kota Umeda, so it's not heavyweight champ versus Intercontinental champion in the semifinals. It is Kota Umeda beating Tamura here. So he gets the win, and he gets a future Intercontinental title matchup. For Tamura, though, he now defends his belt against Daniel Makabe, so that's a 97-0, hell of a main event, hell of a show because of that. Obviously, we want to put those guys over. So Umeda might have a huge opportunity on his hands, though. I mean, if he can beat the heavyweight champion and the Intercontinental champion in a week's time, that's a hell of a week. That's a star-making week for sure. He'd obviously go on to the finals, and then if he can win the finals, my God, what a performance. But, Kota Umeda, Hiro Tamura, Jon Moxley, those guys are definitely the best of the block for sure, and they did great. So now, just down to 2, as it is down to Block C and D. We know the first semifinal matchup, Tyler Black versus Kota Umeda. Now we'll get to see who will be the second half of that equation to see who's going on to the finals. Alrighty, so for Block C here, the last day of Block C for day 35, we have, as far as basically, it comes down to a couple of singles matches. And for La Sombra, he's got to beat Daichi Hashimoto and also hope that both Rush and Will Hobbs lose their matches. As for Rush, he needs a win and a loss for Will Hobbs, as Rush is taking on Kenta. And then for Will Hobbs, he's taking on Levi Mir. If he wins that, he wins the block no matter what happens. So that is basically what's going on for Block C. Of course, the winner takes on the winner of Block D in the semifinals. But we are set. We got the show lined up, ready to go. And we see Keisuke Okuda of Koji Kamai beating the Bomb Squad. Of course, at the final show, we're seeing the 2v2v2 Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title matchup. So the two challenging teams here in Koji Kamai and the Bomb Squad, Samurai Del Sol and Demonic Mamba, battling it out. Here on the undercard, as El Hiro del Airbender, the best guy in the match. Samurai Del Sol, though, right behind him, Akira and Demonic Mamba, 71s for both guys there. Actually, a good little opener, especially, as far as the Iwadi Athletic Stadium, I believe it's 30,000, 25,000 people. So almost a full sellout, but it's, again, for 35 days, pretty much running every single day besides a Wednesday, pretty solid. Pretty solid. It's Dominic Guarini losing to Ray Fenix here with the Meteora for Ray Fenix in 22-17. As far as, even though he did not finish at the top of the standings and the top of the block, he, of course, beat Will Hobbs. So you already have that win itself. You get a Never Openweight or a New Japan Strong Openweight title matchup in the future, no matter what happens, as how this plays out. But Hobbs does, in fact, beat Levi Mir. So already knowing that he getting the win will be in the semifinals. Probably should have Levi Mir get the win here, or even had a little bit later on the card, but We had to have a Steel Show matchup. I figured this was kind of the best case scenario for it. So, unfortunately, we know what happens is poor Roosh, he beats Kenta in actually a great matchup here. 99, did not expect that at all, but with the great chemistry, Roosh gets a 98. Gets him with a Roosh driver as well in 20 minutes. So, a hell of a win there. And an 86 for Brody King and Juice Robinson. Juice gets him with the Pulp Friction in 20 minutes. This probably could have been the Steelers Show matchup, I guess, looking back on it, but that's alright. And then Daichi Hashimoto and La Sombra, the main event as a Brilliante driver for La Sombra, gets the win in 27-48. A great matchup there, and a hell of a show, actually, for Block C. That was crazy. Obviously, the 99 with Rush and Kenta was insane. Definitely want to put those guys over. And, yeah, then we'll put over Sombra as well. But, yeah, Will Hobbs making it to the semifinals. So we have the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the IWGP US Champion, and both Never Openweight and New Japan Strong Openweight champions as the Final Four. Insane. And we still got Block D to see what happens there. As on to the final block show we go. Alrighty, so for the final block show for Block D, a three-way tie going into the show, plus Chaz Gable, if he could pull off the victory over Sonata and both Pac and Hiromu get a draw, it would be an interesting three-way tie, because as far as he lost to only Katsuhiko Nakajima and Donovan Dijak, so he would have a tiebreaker win over those men, and that is a pretty crazy thing, but it technically is a four-man race. A lot of things have to go Gable's way, but man, Hiromu and Pac, they have their match, of course. One would assume the winner of that match is going to go on to win the whole thing, as far as for the block, because Sonata, his match with Gable, if he does in fact pull off the victory, he still has a loss and a draw, as far as having the loss to Pac, but the draw with Hiromu, so they would have to have another match anyways, with a tiebreaker. But we'll see how it plays out here for day 36 of the opening contest, Joshi tag matchups, as Isaya Kamatani and Utami Aishista of Queen's Quest beating the Tokyo Cyber Squad team. Jungle Kiona and Starlight Kid is Utami Aishista getting the win over Jungle Kiona with a Samoan drop in 10:30. Tough break for the Tokyo Cyber Squad team, specifically Starlight Kid, as obviously she's the best girl in the match. But a decent little opener, though. Can't beat that. A 75. A 77 for Sonata and Chaz Gable, as he beats Gable in 29-19. This is the Technical Masterclass matchup. Crazy this was only a 77. I don't know how the fuck that happened. It's pretty crazy that a lack of psychology brings this match all the way down from potentially a 90 to a 77. But here we are. As now we wait and see how the Hiromu Pac match plays out. As Coughlin beats Shane Strickland here with the STF in 11:44. As a little follow-up from this, we're going to see on the next night, on the semifinals, we're going to see Coughlin, not Coughlin, rather, excuse me, we're going to see Juice Robinson and Maki Ito taking on Shane Strickland and Queen Amanita, as far as she will be joining House of Black, and kind of the idea behind that is kind of plant the seeds. I wouldn't even say kind of, it basically is planting the seeds for the embassy, as far as making a run, as far as, or maybe even be a subgroup of House of Black with Prince Dana, Shane Strickland, and Queen Amanati. As far as, this is a fun little match, though, and Strickland probably should have got the win there, but it is what it is. 85, though, for Dijak and Volter, and we see Dijak beat Volter. How about that? And with a fucking burning hammer, too, no less. It's actually a good matchup. 81-82 for Dijak and Volter. Yeah, that's a fun match. That's a fun one. And Ricochet and Katsuhiko Nakajima. 23 minutes. Ricochet beating Nakajima with the spinning Michinoku driver. Hell of a matchup there as well. I mean, Block D always just delivers. And our main event, it is a draw. As, oh no, it was supposed to be a draw. It had, oh, that's right. It was Hiromu beating Pac, rather, excuse me. As, so Hiromu beats Pac. Obviously, Sonata won his matchup. So they are, in fact, tied with the tiebreaker win. I thought it was going to be a draw, but no, it's a tiebreaker win. Jesus, as the Hiromu getting the win here is massive, of course, because now Sanada and Hiromu facing off. Winner goes on to take on Will Hobbs. Now the question is, does Tanahashi make it happen right now? Or does he opt for it to be in the semifinal show where the winner takes on Hobbs? And he doesn't even get that chance. Because, as Pac is selling after the grueling war with Hiromu, Sanada is leading Red Shoes to the ring, while Showtime Tanaka, Tomoya Tom Ford, and the Velocities are holding back Tanahashi. As Sanada is yelling to Tanahashi that he has, from the office, signed and sealed, that tonight there must be a winner to find out who's going on in the semifinals. Down he comes with Red Shoes and immediately puts the beat down on him. Just devastated Pac is obviously pretty much on E, as far as after the grueling battle with Hiromu, or as far as it was supposed to be Hiromu and Sanada. I don't know why I had Pac. Oh my god. I just fucked this whole thing up because it was supposed to be Hiromu and Sanada, and with Sanada having the, as far as, yeah, I just had the wrong person. I picked the wrong person. It was supposed to be Hiromu and Sanada. Hiromu basically selling, and basically, the time bomb was out of desperation. He's still laying on the mat, like, facing up after pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. He kind of falls back down. And in comes Sanada, and right away, just like a man on a mission, beating the piss out of him. Wastes no time. Sanada lock while he's still down. Like, he doesn't even get up off the mat by the time it's over. And we have our winner of the block, and it is Sanada. Besides it being fucked up, wow, that's crazy that the angle killed the show with the Sanada and Hiromu match was supposed to be. That is crazy that show bombed like that. But we now know what the semifinals are looking like. Tyler Black, Cody Umeda for the left side for blocks A and B. Blocks C and D, Sanada and Will Hobbs. Boy, oh boy, Sanada is just a step away now from doing exactly what he was tasked to do. Poor Pac, though, he fucking ended up getting put in a match he wasn't even supposed to be in. And that is why you always check and make sure your shit is ready to go. Really, what fucked me up is having to show off the tournament standings and all that before each day, and because I had so much shit planned on this day, it just kind of got fucked up. But yeah, we'll put over Hiromu. That show was just cursed to begin with anyways. I can't believe that match was an 85 with the technical masterclass matchup. But yeah, that's the semifinals. We're also going to have Intercontinental title matchup, Hideo Tamura, Daniel Makabe on the semifinal show. We're also going to see, as far as on that same night, we will see the matchup between the, going into, as far as the IWGP Women's title matchup with Mayu Iwatani. I believe it's Suzu Suzuki and Himeka Rita taking on the Triple Talon Tandem. Having that as well. A little bit more of some card matches as well on the card. As well as far as Ricky Banderas, as far as retiring. Yeah, but I was about to say we can just go right into it, but we gotta wait a little bit. Yeah, as far as, we'll keep it Ashley. I guess we could just, we'll just go to the pre-booking page, because that will help us out a lot, just to go over it. So yeah, also, Cedric Alexander, Desmond Xavier against Lee Moriarty and Zack Sabre Jr. IWGP Tag Team Title Matchup. The Glory Bastards taking on Chaz Gable and Shotaro Ashino. So, Gable had beat Pac, of course. Ashino being involved in this, I feel like is a great way to have Suzuki-gun and the Glory Bastards have a tag team title matchup involved. And, of course, the semifinals there, we talked about the Iwatani matchup, building up to the women's title matchup. Same thing here with Moriarty and Cedric Alexander building up to the title matchup there for the final show. Also seeing Donna Del Mondo, it's a 4-horsewoman. We're going to have at the King of Pro Wrestling, we're going to have, as far as you see, Becky Knockout Quinn's going to beat Saki Akai. So basically, it's going to be Becky and Toni Storm taking on Julia and Akai on the King of Pro Wrestling final show for the New Japan Strong Women's titles. So, as far as the tag team titles. So, building up to that. And yeah, that's the semifinals. And then we'll talk about the finals when we get there, because obviously we don't want to spoil who's going to be in the finals. But we will find out next. Alrighty, so we are here for the semifinals. And we're in Osaka Joe Hall for this one. As a little PR release announcement after following what took place on our final block show. Tanahashi has said that has come to his, as far as his findings with the envelope, or not the envelope, rather, the note that was signed and sealed and delivered by the office was not, in fact, after, careful, as far as consideration from having, what they call those fucking, oh man, I don't know why I'm blanking on, but they're handwriting experts. They have a specific name for it, but I will just say handwriting expert. That fucking look through and you kind of can differentiate, and use their little slideshows of like, zooming in and seeing how different, some of these S is different this way and, stuff like that. But, got some, handwriting experts done that brought in to take a look at it and compare it to some of the other notes that the office has, done and pressed out and signed, and turns out it was a fake. And Tanahashi is just beside himself at this rate. I mean, he is just like, how could somebody pull this off? That is just making a mockery of this fucking tournament. We've seen him now interfere. We've seen him use false fucking notes from the office and false permission to make matches happen. Tonight, that's going to end, though. Will Hobbs is going to get the goddamn job done. Like, he literally is not even showing any type of unbiasm now. It is full-on Will Hobbs getting the job done. And he says because that matchup tonight is in a steel cage. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide for Sonata, no one to come in and interfere, anything like that. It will be the best man walking out tonight as a winner between Sonata and Will Hobbs. And also for Cody Ameda and Tyler Black, their matchup, of course, is just a regular matchup, but that is also a match he talks about as far as we want to see the best of the best compete in the G1 finals, and we're going to see that between those four men as far as whoever wins out of those two matches. He's very, very pleased, but he hopes, obviously, Will Hobbs will get the job done again, to reiterate. So he's trying to tote that line, but you could tell of professionalism and not being someone that is showing that Sonata's getting underneath his skin, but it's hard to, and it's even boiling to where I want him to start kind of looking disheveled now, as far as kind of throughout the week. Maybe the suit isn't looking as pressed on as it needs to be. Maybe the hair is looking a little crazy, like it's keeping him up at night. Because he's trying to think of ways to make sure this motherfucker does not win the G1. So I kind of like that idea, too, of it. But, yeah, as far as that's a little PR, kind of a little video there. As far as, that probably would have been uploaded on New Japan World, like, kind of to build up between the day, upload that on Saturday, or even earlier in the morning on Sunday. Either way, works out for me. But the opening contest here, the women's trios matchup. 4 horsewomen, Donna Del Mondo, Becky Knockout Quinn, of course, getting the win. Of course, we already talked about this matchup, so don't need to go into it into great depth. But the matchup, though, should go over pretty well come the King of Pro Wrestling Finals next month. Actually, it's not even going to be... Oh, yeah, it is next month. Yeah, I'm an idiot. But as far as Queen Aminata and Shane Strickland, falling short here. This hurt my fucking soul to have Aminata lose here. But I just knew she wasn't going to perform well. But she is not going anywhere. Not on my watch. Maki Ito and Juice Robinson getting the win. But the big story from this is while Maki Ito and Queen Aminata are in the ring and are working their match, we see there's a zoom in on Juice, but Juice's back is to the camera. So they're trying to get like a different angle of it to try to do like an angle from the floor, because it's like hard cam side and he's got his back to the camera. he's doing something to the buckle. No one can really tell what it is. It's very, very quick, though. It's very subtle. He doesn't make a big show of it, but nothing in the match gets revealed by it. It's not like they even go to that corner. So it's just kind of like, that was weird. It's like, what is fuck was that about? But yeah, Juice gets the win, and Makito obviously as well. But I'm loving the embassy idea, though, with Queen Amanada, Strickland, Prince Nana. I definitely want to get a enforcer part for the House of Black as far as for the embassy. Not sure exactly who yet, but it would be nice. Because, again, all the bells and whistles for the embassy. You have the group with, obviously, now Amanada and Strickland, but also, Nana and Amanada, of course, Nana and Strickland is, it's a nice little pairing, but to have maybe someone that can team up with Strickland too would be great. Funny enough, Keith Lee would be kind of perfect for that role, but we obviously have him in Monstars U, so I don't think that's going to happen. But a 90 here for Lee Moriarty and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Cedric Alexander, Desmond Xavier, as Zack Sabre Jr. getting the win in 20 minutes. And yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. 80, or 92 rather, Lee Moriarty with an 87, and Cedric Alexander, really off his game, still gets an 81. Obviously, Xavier was going to be the worst guy in the match, so he takes the fall, and nice win for United Empire here. A little win back since Moriarty and Gavin McGavin lost to Cedric Alexander and Desmond Xavier earlier on in the tour, so nice little bounce back for them. 91 here for Mayu Iwatani, Himeka Rita, and Suzu Suzuki against Triple Talon Tandem. And we see Triple Talon Tandem get the win here as Io Shirai with the moonsault off the top onto Suzu Suzuki. Hell of a matchup, though. A 91. Again, the Joshi division right now is just on fire with some of the talent we have now, especially with Mayu Iwatani. I mean, Christ. She's the second best woman on the roster now, behind Io Shirai. And to have the two best in the world battling it out at the finals of the G1 Climax. My God, you can't write for anything better for us as far as to have a great finals, as far as for that matchup alone, let alone what might potentially be the finals that we're about to see after we get through these Intercontinental and Tag Team title matches. As the Intercontinental Championship stays with Hayato Tamura, Makabe did outperform him, and Tamura kind of stunk it up there. Not great, but he gets the one with the Hayato driver, and that's his 6th defense, too, of his Intercontinental title. So he's been on a hell of a run. But his performances haven't been all that great, unfortunately. But he's still been the champion. He's been doing well for Dragon's Den. The tag team title matchup, though, we see the Gory Bastards beat Gable and Ashino. Pac beating Gable after losing to Hiromu. Figure this would be a great way for him to kind of bounce back, get his heat back, too. And plus, also, since Gable beat him as well during the G1. We could have went with Suzuki-gun, though. It was, my God, it was close. Literally a point difference for Suzuki-gun's side. It just sucks the lack of psychology here at the match. Crazy that Moxley and Pac with great chemistry still. Moxley with an 84. He must be declining physically, if I had to guess. Take a look. Yep. That makes sense. And 2028, especially the style he's worked too. Yeah, he'll probably be kind of wearing down physically, if I had to guess. Unless he takes a lot of time off, like he's kind of been doing recently, so that's been nice. But Tyler Black beats Umeda, so he's going on to the finals. Can he go back-to-back? Can he win the G1 after being the heavyweight champion and the U.S. champion? My God, what a year that would be for Tyler Black. But beating Kota Umeda here in 31 minutes, too. Hell of a matchup. And now for our main event in the cage. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Only ends by pinfall and submission. And they don't click. But that little, Juice Robinson put the thing in the buckle. Turns out, as, let's say halfway through the match, around the 12, 15 minute mark. Yeah, let's go actually a little later than that. Let's go about 16 minutes. Because, also the finish is not going to be Sonata. Like, I want Sonata to do the moonsault off the cage, which is crazy. But I think Hobbs is big enough to take it and not die, type of thing. It's a railroad spike. But it's a giant one. I mean, it's not like one of the small ones. This fucking thing's huge. I don't know where we got it, but it's like it can almost barely fit in Sonata's palm. It's so big. Because we wanted to put over again how big Will Hobbs is. We needed not a regular railroad spike. We wanted kind of a bigger one. An extra large one, if you will. So he hits him with it. There's no DQ, so and the referee's just kind of like, oh fuck, as far as what do you do? And Tanahashi then sees obviously, Hobbs is now bleeding. Tanahashi's running out there trying to get the referee's maybe attention before, as Sonata's climbing up to the top of the cage to hit this moonsault. Sonata sees him, double bird into the moonsault. 1, 2, 3. He does it. As Tanahashi is then, as he sees the moonsault hit and the count, starts kicking the fucking barricade beside him. Goes back up the ramp before he does something that he's going to regret. And as, Sonata leaves a bloodied Will Hobbs behind, goes into the back to the press conference area, and he is met by not only Juice Robinson and Alex Coughlin, but the Kingdom of Torture in Shinsuke Nakamura and King Devitt. As far as looking on with Juice and Coughlin, they are coming to Sonata, and just as far as like, man, this is a great job. For Devitt and Nakamura, it's more of like I can't believe you guys pulled that off. Like, that's fucking crazy, as far as you stuck it to the man, especially Nakamura is very, very pleased of pulling a fast one over on Tanahashi. But the plan, the alliance of peace, love, and war and desires of perfection, it comes from a mutual hatred and a mutual understanding. Here's a guy that was a part of the court of justice, wanting to bring justice to New Japan Pro Wrestling of the injustice that's been gone through his time period. Now, sees a guy where the office is clearly not wanting him to win, and he's doing everything in his power to pull a fast one on him and to beat the system. Juice saw that opportunity, made the plan. Him and Sonata, and the deal is done. For Juice and Sonata. It helps them out. And also, Juice and Coughlin, as far as they pull a fast one on House of Black, too. Obviously, we just saw Coughlin beat Strickland, and we just saw Shane Strickland and Queen Aminata losing to Juice and Maki Ito, too. So there's so many different kind of layers to it that we were working with. So it's more of Kingdom of Torture, shocked, but not like in a bad shock. Just kind of like a relieved laughing of just like, I cannot believe what you guys did. You pulled off, the heist of the century type of thing. So that was fun to do. In the next post-show press conference, though, is Tyler Black. As he's just, after everyone kind of hits the showers, gets out of there, Tyler Black is just like, man, what has this fucking place come to? Look at what he was last year when he won the G1, and looked at kind of the story of being Sonata, taking his ball and going home, not being a part of it. Comes here now, doing everything he can to steal wins, to get wins left and right. It's not, as far as we can't have it happen. As far as for Tyler Black, it says it's got to be the best man for the job, and it's going to be him. As far as he's the heavyweight champion of the world, he's the U.S. champion of the world, he's the best in the world, and he feels he can beat him on any given night. He's done it before. He's going to do it here at the finals. But in comes Tanahashi, who, again, I want him to look even more disheveled. I want the fucking tie to be gone, barely fitting into a suit. Like, it just looks all fucking, it looks like he slept in it type of thing. He's just, hands on his head, just like, I cannot believe what is going on. Like, it just keeps on falling apart for him. As Tanahashi says, before you go, signals for somebody off camera to bring in, he's like, bring in the briefcase. So Tyler Black is just like, what in the world's going on? So he sits it on the table there in front of the press conference, opens it up, and it's 1,000,000 yen. 1,000,000 yen. But he's not done though. Says bring on another one. So then comes another briefcase. So, and opens it again. Now it's 2 million. Keeps on doing it. Does it 10 times. 10 million yen in front of Tyler Black. So this is something that I have done. Some of my own money. Some of the veterans that have built this place. The Shibatas. So, as far as for himself, Shibata, Ishii, Okada, Shinichiro Tenryu. Going into even Tatsumi Fujinami. Going into the next generation as far as with Tenryu and Fujinami and having people from New Japan's past chipping in to make sure that this son of a bitch does not win this G1. As far as Masahiro Chono, he doesn't want someone that has won this G1 multiple times, obviously. And for Hiroshi Tenzan, he's also chipped in. You have Liger chipping in, too. I mean, just the faces of this business for New Japan of the last, literally from almost inception, besides, obviously, like the 70s stars, because unfortunately a lot of them are not with us, but going into the late 80s, into the 90s, into obviously the current day, everything that they have worked hard for to build, to be a part of, to keep the vision of what Inoki wanted, the best of the best, strong style, seeing styles from all over the world competing in an athletic contest where the better man gets the win, and we're seeing this guy pull stunt after stunt after stunt, interfering, using weapons, cheating, not even participating in these tournaments because he feels like he doesn't deserve it, and he wants to be a fucking TV star, he wants to be a movie star, he wants to be on runway shows. I want to have the guy winning this G1 be the best wrestler in the world, and a guy who wants to be a professional wrestler, wants to be here in New Japan, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. You, Tyler Black, this could be yours, all of this. 10 million yen if you can get the job done and beat Sonata on the finals. If you do this for me, I'll forever be in your debt. So this is a little bit of, obviously we didn't want to go full on Harley Race and just, somebody take the damn money, but fuck, this idea of not even doing a bounty, doing more of a, this could be yours, 10 million yen. Because obviously alluding to win, Walter beat him, and he was given an envelope. Don't know how much yen was in that, but assuming that was out of Tanahashi's pocket. Now he's trying to do the same thing and even upping the ante, even showing off that this is what you can get. If you want to take apart what's going on with Sonata and now with Juice Robinson, to where you're seeing guys try and help this motherfucker, not again. Not on our watch. This is what it's about. Having the best in the world at what they do, as far as what the G1 Climax is all about. So as far as, that is the story. That is the match for the finals. I cannot believe, never mind, I can't not believe it. Yeah, of course, the cage match was in 83, so yeah, no wonder it got in 86. But man, what a show going up into that point. The storytelling has, you want to talk about some fucking layers, with now Juice being involved, you're harkening back to the Court of Justice, and that's fucking, God, was that 2026? Might even been 2025. A long time. A long time ago. And he has done everything in his power. Now, to help Sonata beat Will Hobbs. Sure, Hobbs is pissed, but he's getting stitched up, so we couldn't hear from him, as far as, obviously, a bloody mess for Will Hobbs. But now, we see who is winning the finals. Alrighty, so the G1 Climax finals held in the Maji Jinju Stadium in front of 35,000 people. Almost a sellout, not quite though, as it's about 2,000 shy of a sellout, but still, a lot of fucking people. For, again, this schedule we have ran literally for a month, almost 2 months now, straight, besides this week we took off between the semifinals and finals, and obviously every Wednesday for the New Japan Strong tapings. But my God, we probably made so much money this tour, and we keep it going. As Lee Moriarty does in fact beat Cedric Alexander, gets his win back from losing at the Best Super Juniors and beat him with a Tiger Driver 18. That's his 4th defense of the Junior Heavyweight title. Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title matchup now, as it's a 1-fall to a finish, too. The Velocities, Samurai Do Son, Demonic Bamba, and Koji Kamai. And we still have the Velocities as our Junior Heavyweight Tag Team champions. And we will see if now Sonata will follow in the path of the Velocities and also win tonight. Hiro Del Armando, though, was a 92 best guy in the matchup, but the best team overall-wise, as far as was Paris De Silva and Jude London, they were incredible with 86 and 85, and Samurai Del Sol in 84 as well, so he did good. But yeah, all around, this was a great little Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title matchup. Never openweight title matchup. We saw these two men battle it out during the G1, but it was a doubled count out. Now, we see Hobbs get the win with the torture rack. It's a New Japan Strong openweight title matchup, not an openweight title matchup, but I figured this would be a good little spot for it right here after the Junior Heavyweight stuff. And now, the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team title matchup as Hiromu Takahashi and Ryu Lee beating the Monstars team of Keith Lee and Donovan Dijak. We have new champs there and a hell of a team, of course, in Hiromu and Ryu Lee. 91 and 92 for the champs. And we have new champions for the first time tonight as far as titles changing hands. Our co-main event, can't do it. Was going to be her 29th defense if successful, but she falls short as Mayu Iwatani gets the win with the Frog Splash. What a run, though. A year and some change, damn near, for Io Shirai, defended that belt all over the world. Falls short here tonight, but my God, what a fucking run. And now we have a new champion in Mayu Iwatani. As our main event, we see, as far as the stipulation that was announced from Tanahashi, as far as going into tonight's show, it was announced Tanahashi was going to be there at ringside with the briefcase to make sure there's no bullshit happening. If someone was going to interfere, they were going to have to go through him. But if somebody else from House of Black or Peace, Love, and War hit the ring at any time, the match is over, will be given to Sonata. Because, again, he wants to make sure he is right by the fucking timekeeper to ring the bell to make sure that there is no bullshit. However, though, Jay White walks down the aisle. Tanahashi's looking like, what is he doing here? Oh, no. This is, not going to happen. Not on my watch. And as far as he gets up out of his section, as far as they're going back and forth, Jay White just says, hey, I'm just here to watch. He puts his hands up like I'm not doing anything. So Tanahashi tells him, get in the back. And Jay White is like, all right, and he starts to head back. As Tanahashi is turned around, seeing that, all right, he's out of here, Jay White, from behind, lays him down. Fucking shot to the back of the head, throws him into the barricade. As Sonata and Tyler Black, they don't see it. They hear all this, obviously, commotion, but they don't know what the hell's going on. But Jay White's still not hitting the ring. Looks like he was just kind of playing a little bit of mind games, potentially. Maybe literally just taking a cheap shot at the president. But he, in fact, goes to the briefcase. Picks it up. So gets it away from the timekeeper's table. Slides it in the ring. Not for anybody in particular. Just slides it in the ring. Right? And as he's about to leave, picks up Tanahashi. Kind of, sort of brushes him off a little bit. Throws him back into the ring. Which, now obviously, as far as we have Red Shoes as our referee, he's trying to maintain order. He's trying to get the briefcase out of here. He's trying to get Tanahashi out of here while also maintaining order of the matchup. As then though, ref bump as Red Shoes is trying to help out Tanahashi Sonata, as far as hits him in the back, send him to the floor. It's like, great. As they keep going, working back and forth, Tyler Black, at one point, takes back control of the matchup. Looking for God's Last Gift gets countered into, as far as a Sonata trying to roll through with a small package to try to steal the victory, but of course there's still no referee, so they break out of it, and Tyler Black tries to just go for a curb stomp, kind of just out of desperation. Tanahashi is finally the first guy back up, as far as out of the two men, between him and Red Shoes. Sees what's going on, sees the briefcase right by him, picks it up as Tanahashi is now waiting for his moment. What's he going to do with it? As far as he's going to take it back to ringside, or is he going to try and change the outcome of this matchup? Sees that chance after Sonata gets out of the way of the curb stomp. Rolls out of the way, right? Here comes Tanahashi with the briefcase, coming full steam ahead. But what he does not know is Sonata sees it coming. Out of the way, he goes, kind of lucha rolls out of the way, hits Tyler Black rather. As he hits him, as far as devastated, right? As far as basically was doing like a flying forearm with the briefcase. So as he hits the mat and looks at what he's done, he just goes, shit, just knows that he's fucked up. In comes Jay White, Blade Runner, onto the President, onto the Ace, Blade Runner, onto Tyler Black. Signals for Sonata go up to the top, hit 3 moonsaults, just to be clear, just to make sure, as he rolls in. Red Shoes, let's say Red Shoes, after he got, ref bumped, he just rolls the outside, rolls him in, sees that, there's a cover, 1, 2, 3. Sonata beats him. A lot of bells and whistles. Obviously, the story that we're telling is there's a man in Tanahashi who has desperately tried to be all for the people, doing it the right way, trying to find out who's the best of the best of his talent. But now the man has finally snapped. He's like, all right, I'm just going to take it in my own hands. And when he does it, he ends up doing more harm than good, and maybe even inadvertently costing Tyler Black the win. And his worst nightmare has come true, with Sonata winning the G1. And, as we see with the post-show press conference, it's not just Sonata and his designs of perfection with Juice Robinson's Peace, Love, and War. Now, the Kingdom of Torture with Jay White. And I like the idea of using Jay here because, again, we kind of saw with Devitt and Nakamura, being just backstage, where it's just like, wow, I can't believe you guys pulled it off. And it gets revealed for Sonata as far as, obviously, on Cloud 9 here. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, win that G1. And for him, you can't even take the fucking shit-eating grin off of his face. Here's a guy that has done it. He's gotten underneath Tanahashi's skin so much that, he's not the cool, calm, and collected Ace. This man is... I want him literally to, grow a beard. I want him to just look a fucking mess for the next couple of months. And he puts a lot of blame on himself as far as for what has happened. Maybe he escalated the situation. It's a lot of self-thinking with that. And for Sonata, talks about the plan, what had happened. Started with a phone call from a man that had been in America for the past couple of years, trying and clawing his way back to New Japan. The office wasn't taking his calls, but he took his call. And he knew that it was only a matter of time for the right moment, the right opportunity, and he just told the man 3 words. It's showtime. Because it's exactly that. For him, it is Sho Tanaka's time. For him to realize the expectations that he was given, that he ultimately fell short, but Sonata spins it to where it was the office's fault. It was not his fault. He was not given the chance to be a top-level guy, for Sho Tanaka. But now, it's his chance. When it comes with Juice Robinson and Jay White, Peace, Love, War, we already talked about, basically, Juice Robinson. Back in 2024, in 2023, it's about the court of justice. Him turning on Liberty United, trying to right the injustice of what was going on in New Japan. He sees a guy in Sonata who's actually changing the way the office is doing things, and he knew he had to be a part of it. Jumps on board. For Jay White, though, in the Kingdom of Torture, it's more of opportunity. For Jay White, of course, he beat Tyler Black during the G1, sees the opportunity to be able to fuck over Tyler Black, which is great, but also be a part of something special. Because for Sonata, it's not just what's going on with the G1, because for him, he says, as far as, I talked about wanting to shove this, as far as the trophy, or, as far as now he's got the briefcase too, shove it up Tanahashi's ass, but to be honest, I feel like he's already felt the brum of what has probably felt like things getting shoved up his ass after what we just did to him. So he's going to take it easy on him. But as far as for January 4th, says, he's got other plans. He's got something booked that night. Doesn't think he's going to be able to make it, but says that, it's still some time away, or a couple of months away. Maybe if the office can maybe do a little scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation. Says that, sure, I can go out of the Jinju Stadium here, drive out to as far as I can towards the Pacific Ocean and take this briefcase and take this trophy and send it into the Pacific Ocean so no one can ever see this again. Sure, I can do that. But I'm interested in something bigger. Something more. I'll fight Tyler Black again, even though I just beat him. So I don't feel like I really need to have this title matchup. I feel like I should be already the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, but I'll make an exception under some conditions. Feels like I'm holding all the cards here. Maybe, us, as far as looking at Kingdom of Torture, Peace, Love, and War, Designs of Perfection, maybe we lead a mass exodus. We do our own thing. So no G1 Climax winner, no Wrestle Kingdom main event, and no Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. As far as for the Velocities too, and maybe even for Peace, Love, and War and Kingdom of Torture, that kind of idea of maybe, having them poach for belts. But even for Sonata, says, and that's just us. Listen, this is an open invitation to everybody involved. If you want to hop on the bandwagon of the hottest thing going today in professional wrestling, come right along. Enjoy the ride. Because we are on the verge of something special. Because for the office, if you want me at Wrestle Kingdom, I'll come. But I'm going to be the heavyweight champion because I want a match with Tyler Black under a Sonata Entertainment production show. My own show. I pick the venue. I pick the referees. I pick the talent. I'm in charge. I'm the president for one show. You give me that, I'll fight Tyler Black again. I'll beat him again, just like I did tonight. And then I'll go on to Wrestle Kingdom, and sure, you can pick whoever you want. Or I'll already be the heavyweight champion. Perhaps we'll have some other gold amongst us, and we'll take our talents somewhere else. Ball's in your court. So, obviously, a lot to unpack there. You have why Sonata brought in Sho Tanaka. why this group is being assembled here, this mega fucking faction of people of like-mindedness of destroying New Japan. And for Kingdom of Torture as well, Nakamura and his hatred of Tanahashi, kind of a fun way of trying to stick it to the man one more time. And it's funny that, again, Nakamura was fucking super rookie, a guy that really embodied what Antonio Inoki at first was trying to do. And, of course, started doing the Bumaye, bit of a fuck you to Inoki. It kind of turned his back on him. Have that type of swagger about him, too, to where one of the New Japan greats, a talent that was homegrown, rose to exponential heights, went to WWE, of course, came back, and that idea of throwing out a mass exodus, obviously, with the history of how that's happened, obviously, with Pro Wrestling Noah being formed from the exodus of Masawa and company leaving mainly because of Mrs. Baba. Now we have modern day talent, at least close to 10, 12 guys right now, but it might get bigger. Might get to 20, might get to 30. Hell, it might even be half the goddamn roster by the time things come along. You never know. Just, as far as that is out there. Right now, it's down to waiting and seeing. Will the office go into the demands? Or will they not negotiate with a terrorist in Sonata as far as wanting to hold the G1 Climax title matchup with the heavyweight champion hostage? And say, hey, you want me to come to Wrestle Kingdom? I don't think so. I got something booked that night, and it's, again, kind of harkening back to when he stepped away from the G1, giving the talent the power. This culmination of a story with talent versus, I guess you could say, corporate, or just, as far as the powers that be, ownership versus talent. It's been brewing now. We've planted the seeds a while ago, and obviously in a lot of attempts we've seen, the talent has fallen short. Hell, Task Force Death, that was all planned. Destroy New Japan from the inside out. Alright? Fell short. They're still a thing, but it's changed a little bit. It's not as far as like invading outsiders coming in and looking to destroy New Japan from the inside. We talked about with the Court of Justice wanting to right those wrongs that Jews felt was injustice, but really, it was just a sad attempt at a guy trying to stay relevant, maybe, if you want to look at it from that perspective, or, facing talent at a high level. There's something, as far as kind of carrying off the Task Force Death angle, but not as successful. So I would definitely say it's still that same story, but less successful attempt, obviously. But then we saw a little bit of a lull in that period. Then the Kingdom of Torture happens, right? Jay White wanting to start something new, a la, as far as potentially Bullet Club, and obviously Nakamura turning helped that out, and he wanted to, basically, him joining Kingdom of Torture was more of a fucking over Tanahashi, because he felt like he was ruining what had been built by himself and the other talent at the time. So we're talking about a story now that, in many different elements, has been going on for pretty much 7 years now, in some form or another. But I would say this is like the biggest attempt. Now we have a group that is actually wanting, and maybe even potentially getting, exactly what they want. Power, control, all these things. And because New Japan's made so much money, the talent's getting paid more, so it's very much a, basically, the machine has fed these guys' ego, at least for the heels, the ego. But obviously for the babyface, it's more of like they're getting paid very handsomely and compensated for their great efforts. But for the heels, we talk about more of the egotistical side of things. Now they feel that they can run the show. We'll see if New Japan's going to answer the demand, though. And for the last press conference, there was only 2 press conferences, because that one is a major one, and I felt like we wanted to give him at least 10 minutes to talk about what was going on. And also, too, I forgot to even talk about this part. Basically, with in talking about more of Tyler Black, the situation, Sonata laughing at, 10 million yen. He wipes his ass with 10 million yen. That it was, it's probably just nothing but, as far as, loose pieces of paper tied together with actual, with the highest, current, the 100 yen, as far as, or maybe even as far as, as far as the yen notes, if you will, being on top, but it was just nothing but empty paper, or blank paper, rather, on the bottom to make it look like there was 10 million yen. But, and also, too, for talking about, Tyler Black, of how he's probably wondering, as he's carted to the back, what where was his House of Black members? Points to Juice Robinson and points over to the Kingdom of Torture, as far as Jay White, and it's, as far as these guys took care of that, basically implying that they were standing by the curtain, making sure House of Black wasn't going to show up and try and save him. And maybe even you can pan over and see, like, Casanova and Strickland and those, or maybe just, Casanova and Darius and Dante Martin and Robbie Eagles, those guys being laid out. So I like that idea, too, as well. And then for Mayu Iwatani, basically just, full-on respect for Io Shirai, how she has been watching her for over a year now, this reign, and wanting to be in the ring with the best in the world, and she felt like it was only a matter of time. Tonight was her night, and she's looking forward to potential rematch, even, with Io Shirai. She knows that Io's not going anywhere, and she's wanting to be the women's champion for even longer than Io Shirai is. So a fun little promo there. Oh my god, 100. Did not expect that. What a show. As obviously, this is a show for maybe the potential change of the future for New Japan, or New Japan's kind of biggest loss of a battle, but maybe the start of something within for New Japan. Because now it's like, fuck, maybe there's some paranoia now throughout the fall and winter of whose side is on, who's on whose side here, who's joining the Sonata camp, who's joining with, as far as with Tanahashi and the Ace, and being the one true fucking guy that's trying to fight off these evil bastards, as far as from that perspective. So, it's a fun idea to finally have a story like this where the company's almost split. We've had, again, invading talent, the big heels that have tried to run roughshod, but now it's in serious jeopardy. Even the United Empire, at times, looked good and looked like they were in control of the company with, the belts they had and the power they had, but they did not make any demands like this. Because obviously Zack Sabre Jr. and Walter, those guys are wanting to prove that they're the top talent, they're the best in the world, like that. But Sonata, in his fucking frame of reference for what he wants, is completely different. It is not about what he's doing inside the ring. Now it is more of what is going on outside the ring. He's wanting, talked about the Sonata Productions, talking about what he's been doing, obviously, around the world with the TV, movies, runway shows, anywhere, everywhere, commercials. He wants his name everywhere and anywhere. He wants to be one of the biggest stars in Japan. And not only just one of the biggest stars in Japan, in the world. Maybe that will happen because of this, with the shakeup of New Japan. Maybe on the horizon. Who knows? And for the first time, a non-New Japan affiliated show? We'll see. As, that will do it, though, for this episode. And for the both parts of the G1 Climax. Thank you all for watching. What a fucking episode this was. Again, it was a long one, with having to split it up into 2 parts. But we got it. It was 38 shows, which is kind of funny since it's the 38th G1 Climax. And we made it, though. We made it through the end. And we will catch you guys next time for the King of Pro Wrestling. Take care, everyone.